Alright, due to popular request, I'm going to cover what this stream is. It's actually very basic, even though it looks kind of intimidating to some people apparently. This is the option chain on the top. This is calls on the top, puts on the bottom. These numbers on the outside are the volume of each strike. Following with that, this white histogram is just a visual representation of the volume, so it's easier to read as you don't have to just read a freaking number, right? You can tell it's highest at the highest strike right here, puts on the bottom, 50K, that's why it's the biggest. The top, 5,700 for calls at 89,000. The percentage is the amount sold of the strike for each side. So calls at 55.95 are 16% sold. That means they are 84% bought, which is very high. And we go up closer to 5,700, they get capped out right there. Only 40% bought, which is actually pretty much where it seems like we ended the day. And then on the bottom side, it's the same for puts. You can tell this day was mainly driven by call price action because the calls are way more bought than the puts. It's just tons of put selling. This chart on the bottom left relates to these percentage numbers. Right? The red is the put sell percentage, and it's an aggregate of 100 strikes. And you can see the aggregate number right there. Right? Just the same as calls right there. They're at the top. You can see in the morning the price action kind of had the seesaw, but when the sell percentage went up, the price dipped, and then consequently a bunch of puts sold, which made the price go back up. And when that happened, a bunch of calls started buying, and we ended up with the black line going up, which is price. You could kind of just follow this through the day. As the calls start selling again, the price starts going down. The calls start buying again, price starts going up. And it does it over and over and over on this day. Easy example. Towards the end of the day, we started squeezing. You can see the sell percentage of the calls drops very low, drops below 10%, and the price just goes up exponentially, and the puts got squoze out. So that's the bottom left and the top. This right one over here called magnet strikes is simply butterfly OI. Over volume. And my writing's really crappy, but that's what it is. It's kind of an actual volume profile to some degree because it shows where a lot of spread interest kind of stops. This is actually the bottom of the day where that arrow is. And you can see in the middle where most of the price action ended up happening, right? And if you're into standard deviation skews, you can kind of see it's skewed to the upside. So that means the mean's over here. And if you want to go off that, you can see that's actually where we kind of ended the day. Some days it's more of just a general standard deviation, in which point it really works like a magnet and it'd go to the middle. This, however, was not one of those days. Some days it'll actually skew otherwise like this, in which case it'd go down for the other way. Now, if this one is confusing, you could just ignore it. It kind of works like how gamma works, or positive gamma, I suppose, in some way. Also just like a volume profile. If you want to ignore that, you can just literally watch the bottom left chart, which is just a simple way to look at the top chart. Right, because literally blue line go down, black line go up. That's what red line go down, black line follows. All right, and that is it. It is actually quite simple. I know it seems intimidating, but leave any questions in the comments if you feel like it, and I will try to get to them. All right, thanks everybody.